afternoon, everyone. My name's Landon Rowe. I'm here with the Mountain States Relay. We're coming to you from the beautiful Air Force Academy here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. It's a beautiful sunny day. We're here with our friends JP Morgan Chase in Jacksonville for our next to last virtual rally of 2021. Memorial Day is quickly approaching, so let's go ahead and get this rally on the road. First, I'd like to welcome Ron Sullivan. He's the Business Solutions Department Manager with JP Morgan Chase of Jacksonville, and he's going to perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ron, thank you for that rendition. That was a beautiful performance. Next, I'd like you to please welcome John Pepsnick. He's a West Point graduate and Army veteran with JP Morgan and Chase.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I will say I've been on a lot of Zoom calls, and that by far will make this the most memorable one. So I can't tell you how awesome that was to hear the Star Spangled Banner to kick off a Zoom call. Maybe we should make it a habit. But no, thanks, Trent. Appreciate it. For those of you who know me, or if you're following along on Zoom, slight mishap there. My first name's Jason, but I've been called a lot worse than John, so I'll take that. It's all good. But just in case anybody's looking it up, but I really appreciate the opportunity to address the crew, just to take a few minutes to talk about, not only Carry the Load, but, Memorial Day as it comes up, and, what it means to me and how I've kind of looked at it in the past. As mentioned, I'm a graduate of West Point, served a whole bunch of years in the United States Army. So I think, Landon, you're out there at the Air Force Academy. It's all good. I mean, you picked the wrong academy, but it's good. West Point's great this time of year up in the Hudson Valley, but can't beat Colorado Springs either. And, when you think about, what I've been through, and you think about, what the Carry the Load really is all about, and just all of us in many ways have a connection to, folks that, first responders, military individuals, veterans, you name it. We really all have a connection, although in 2020, it sure felt odd to be virtually connected to a whole bunch of folks, right? And hopefully here, as we move forward this year and definitely into next, we'll all be together a lot more in person. But just the connections that we all have and the continuation of those connections is just why I love, the spirit of Carry the Load, and have great pride in, what I did when I served, and continuing to stay connected to folks in the military. I've got one of my best friends, oddly enough, my West Point roommate from when I started back in the day. He's coming up on his retirement this July. So COVID willing, I'll say, or God willing, I'll be able to attend that up in, Washington, D.C., and, see one of my closest friends, complete his journey inside of the military. But, the fact of the matter is, everything that, this organization does, and, the whole purpose behind, everything that this is about, it just truly speaks to, the dedication and, the commitment of everybody involved. What I think, and briefly just talk about Memorial Day, since that's coming up, and I know there's always a lot of activity, around, not only veterans, but, thankfully first responders. My father was a fireman for 30 years in city of Chicago. So, a lot of connections there. But, when I think about Memorial Day, I always find someone, to make it a special place in my mind, And that's really what it truly is about. It's not just about, that extra day off, that long weekend, that barbecue, but the other thing I always ask people to think about is, reaching out to someone else, ask them who they're thinking about on that day, ask them who they're, really have in their mind and their heart, and, ask them to share some stories with you, and, share some stories of your individual. That's how we keep it alive. That's how we keep it going. And that's how we all stay connected. So, once again, I really thank the organization, the opportunity to speak today. I hope everybody is in a great place, going forward into this weekend. And, I really, really appreciate the continuation of keeping the spirit alive, to honor our veterans, to honor first responders, and honor all those, that take care of us in the military. So thank you very much. And I'll turn it back to you, Laney.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. Thank you, Jason. Thanks for your service, first of all, but also thank you for supporting Carry the Load in our mission here. Next, I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Brian Regan. Brian.
Hey, everybody. I'm Brian Regan. Hey, everybody. I'm Brian Regan. Hey, everybody. I'm Brian Regan. I'm a combat lieutenant with the Jacksonville Fire Department here in Florida. And I just want to tell you a little bit about us as first responders. We started out, Jacksonville was not a large department initially. It only covered about 39 square miles. It largely was made up of volunteer companies. These volunteer companies, they were volunteers, but they were contracted by insurance companies. And so it was in the insurance company's best interest to get the fire out. But the guys who put the fire out were the ones that got paid. So it was very common that they would arrive at what was a hydrant, and then they would end up fighting over the hydrant while the house burned. Before that, they had bucket brigades. In these bucket brigades, there was a bell tower, and bell tower is in a high point in the city. Whenever someone noticed a fire, they would run to this bell tower, ring the tower, and then when citizens heard the bell, any able-bodied citizen would come out. They'd form a line from the well where the tower was to the fire, and they just pass buckets back and forth. So we've come a long way since then. Initially moved to these hand crank engines in order to supply water to the fire. And then they started moving towards steam engines and using a bit more with the Industrial Revolution. Things started to progress in that way. Horse-drawn carriages were involved, and then all as you continue on, now we've got the fire engines that you see today. But it's a large part of our culture is understanding the history that we came from. Now we're one of the more premier fire departments, one of the largest departments in the city. We've got over 1,600 firefighters and support staff. We've got 61 fire stations, 58 advanced care life support engines, 58 ambulances. We were the nation's first hazardous materials group. And we were also the nation's first rescue. What they used to do is they would have hearses from a funeral home, and they would transport folks from emergency scenes to the hospital. Well, in the 60s, they figured out that these guys also had a bit of a conflict of interest. The funeral homes were doing better if they were having a funeral. And so it wasn't the best standard of care. And so Jacksonville was actually the first in the city to incorporate advanced care life support, which are your paramedics that are able to give drugs and really do life-saving interventions. They were the first to incorporate those along with the fire department. And then the nation followed suit as a result, and it's worked out. We were also the first department to ever extinguish a fully involved petroleum tank fire. That was in the 90s, and so along with our hazardous materials team, we have become a model for certain aspects of firefighting. But a big part, as I was saying, of our culture, if even as a rookie, it's ingrained into you, your history, because in order to know the history, we've just got an enormous amount of respect for the guys that came before us, and the guys who did the job and the mistakes that were made. And unfortunately, firefighting is a very reactionary industry where it takes somebody getting hurt or somebody losing their life and making the ultimate sacrifice before changes are made, before the city maybe realizes that some funds should be reallocated for better gear, or some training should be implemented, or maybe we should look at things a little bit different. And we, every Memorial Day, we look back on those that we've lost, both in the line of duty and also from complications such as cancer and the other health phenomenons that are taking place in the industry. And we just appreciate them. We try to honor them as best we can, because we know that their lives were, they were offered, and good, we're just trying to make good come out of it. So lessons learned, and just trying to continue to become a better, protect more property, save more lives while still going home to our families. And a lot of that, a lot of those lessons learned are those that were paid the ultimate sacrifice by those who passed away in the line of duty. So Memorial Day is very special to the fire department, not just in Jacksonville, but across the nation. And we are very, very honored to be a part of this organization with Chase as well.
Well, thank you so much, Lieutenant Regan, for your dedication and your service as well. We love partnering with nonprofits that you know, care about and, you know, do this important work for our nation's heroes. Next, I'd like to welcome, from Service Members Undertaking Disabled Sports, or SUDS for short, board member and volunteer Carla Chatterton. Carla.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you all for your support of what we're trying to do. I'm going to give you a little background about SUDS and who we are. Most everybody that knows us, we just call ourselves SUDS. So, but it's Service Members Undertaking Disabled Scuba, or I should say it used to be scuba, now it's sports. When we first started back in 2007, we were based at Walter Reed Army Medical Facility out in Bethesda. And there was an empty pool there, a swimming pool, and a lot of injured service members. So John Thompson, who founded the organization, was walking by the empty pool one day and said, you know, there's got to be something I can do. And he was a certified scuba instructor. So he decided, you know, he's one of those kind of guys that says, I'm going to do something, whatever I can do, I'm going to do it. And so he met with the staff there in the physical therapy department, told them what he wanted to do, and also worked with the Red Cross that was there at Walter Reed. And we started working in the rehabilitation process of helping these severely injured men and women. Most of the people that we worked with are amputees and severely injured. But we got them in the pool and they become weightless. So it was the beginning of something really special in my heart. And I've been with them as a volunteer ever since 2007. Our mission is to utilize adaptive sports in the rehabilitation, to aid in that rehabilitation for all the injured men and women coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. Like I said, we started out with scuba, and we've probably over the years have certified over 500 certified divers so far. That will continue to be one of our main focuses. However, a few years back, we relocated our operation to San Antonio. And we work with a lot of the service members out of Brooke Army Medical there. And we decided we wanted to offer more sports to more people. So we opened up the operation to include hiking, kayaking, skiing. I offer yoga, and whatever else we could do to help these men and women. We're also a part of another organization. We're a chapter of Move United. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they're a nationwide organization that utilizes, again, adaptive sports in rehabilitation of all kinds of injuries, not specific to service members, anyone with any kind of disability. So that alignment was really important to us as we grew since 2007. Very similar, when we moved to Texas, we learned about Carry the Load. And we felt it was very important for us to align ourselves with an organization that has similar passions about doing what we can do to help others. And not only veterans. And I'm sorry, I get really choked up. But I think it's really important what we're all doing. And it does make a difference. It really, really does make a difference. I see it in their eyes, and I see it every time we help some of these guys. Sorry, God. So anyway, this is our first year as a partner, nonprofit partner, and I'm honored to be with all the other members of Carry the Load. We're all, I think 3 or 4 of us are flying into Dallas this Memorial Day weekend to share in the excitement and the motivation of all the other partners. Our goal is really to try to network and do the best we can for our organization and share, you know, maybe some of the things that we've done with other partners to help not only the service members, but also to help first responders. And also, I think it's important to point out the families of the service members. You know, they take, it's a big commitment that they make as well. So it's a family affair, and we're going to make a difference all together. So again, I apologize for getting choked up, but I cry at Hallmark commercials. I can't help it. But anyway, thank you very much. We're excited to be part of the organization, and we're all excited to be in Dallas this weekend to share in it. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Carla. Thanks for what you do. I want to thank everyone here and everyone participating for joining this Jacksonville virtual rally. This has been a great thing. We're approaching the Memorial Day weekend. We're coming up on it. So I know that you guys in Florida, we're a little past you guys, but you know, get out and walk in your own communities, you know, and carry this message. For those of you that are coming to Dallas, we'll be very excited to see you. And, you know, always remember why we do this. And as we ask everyone, who are you carrying?